Alright, muri yeZimbabwe kusangana kwatiri kuita zvakare ipo pano paZimu News Update apo patinoda kupa first hand update anonga ari kuitika munyika yedu yeZimbabwe. Sekuzva kwatiri kuita zvina zvina kumira zvakanaka iri kuside kwakuda Tagwirei boss. Tiri kuona kuti Constitutional Amendment Bill number 3 iri riri kupushwa nanakuda Tagwirei kusanganisana na Wicknell Chivhayo vari kuripusha vari kumasure sort of like vasiririwo but iwo ndio vari kupusha mapolitician because mabusinessmen ari kupusha mapolitician because vane muono wavo vainawo pamberi apo. So muri yeZimbabwe tiri kuona kuti zvina zvinobira zvakanaka because opposition iri ngoda about 130 chete maMPs vanoopposa constitutional then zvobva zvavharana, so ndo zviri kutyiwa nebato reZANU-PF. Ndosaka muri kuona vari kutonga sort of like vana kutonga vari kumhanya vachiita sei. So tiri kuona panapa vaNelson Chamisa vakuya nemuono wedu vatagara tichitaura pano paZimu News Update. vaNelson Chamisa vanyora mashoko vanyora ne 35 minutes muri kuona pascreen apa vachitaura iwo kutoti panapa togara takataura kuti vamunanga gware 2 years ahead than ruzhinji rwenyika yeZimbabwe, zvokutoti pemunozotanga kudai hanotovana Constitution Amendment Bill number 3 iri rinenge rakatanga kurongwa kuna na 2020 uko imi pasina kana chemuri kutomboziva kana ka 1 chichi chimwe, then pavanozorikanda manje kuti riri zijoka no luck card pana pasina no luck card no pick and play. So zviri kuitika zvinezvi kuti hapana no luck card no pick and play kunze kwekutoti pakangoita maMPs sezvo zvetiri kuona kuti mamwe maMPs vatobuda pachena kuopposa Constitution Amendment Bill number 3 vari kuti tiri kumira aine ruzhinji rwenyika yeZimbabwe. So zvinazvova zvakanaka. So tiri kuona vaNelson Chamisa 135 minutes wanyora mashoko avanyora pano takuti timawerenge, tapedza kumawerenga then tichaenda kuna Morgan Komichi vari kutaurawo vachitaura nenhaurwa yeConstitutional Amendment Bill number 3 tichiona kuti vanozvifambisa sei pano paZimu News Update. So takuti tiwerenge tese panapa muri yeZimbabwe pari kunyorwa kunzi it was all about ED power games. Zvese zviri kutwa anga atori magames ake ndemagames ake haasi magames ake wakotorasika magames avanhu vatori kumashure vatori behind vari kutopusha chinhu haasi magames aED aya. Worked with Shabangu to engineer illegal recalls that ultimately ended ZANU-PF a fraudulent 2/3 parliament majority in clear violation of both the law and democracy principles. Unfortunately, when the recalls began, men failed to recognize that this was part of a long planned strategy orchestrated by ED. It was never about the claims that the CCC lacked the constitution of formal structures in Zimbabwe. You cannot submit party candidate to ZEC without a party constitution. Tikunzoti CCC yange sina ma-structures ndo zvaitawa yange sina constitution yange sina kana chi ndo zvaitawa takazvinzwa izvozvo. So tiri kuona kuti vaNelson Chamisa vari kubuda panapa vachiti haungakwanisi kusubmita candidate yako kuZEC inoona nezvekuverengwa kwema-election muno munyika yeZimbabwe usina constitution, party yako isina constitution. But tiri kuona kuti segame rakarongwa ionogona because game iri rakatanga kurongwa kuna na 2020 saka ionogona tonzi uya nyange isina constitution yacho handi mazvona uya because game unonga rakarongwa chimwe. Because tiri kuona kuti iwe wakanzi pakoti chacho pakanzi buditse secretary general weCCC akadini kubuda mukoti kana udziwa kwane constitution. So tiri kuona pana pakanyorwa kunzi parliament and Mudenda were a position of CCC constitution but choose to ignore it on instruction from his ZANU-PF boss. Tiri kuona panapa muri yeZimbabwe those no constitution and new structures narratives were merely to smokescreen some individuals driven by their disagreement with Nelson Chamisa celebrate the recalls, unaware that they were in fact celebrating the erosion of democracy and the weakening of our nation. The foundation for the current Constitutional Amendment Bill agenda was laid in 2023. Rina kutomboitwa 2023 rakatotanga kudhara 2023 after my election aya zvinhu zvakazotongoitiko hazvo zvakatanga kutoitika but zvakatotanga na 2022 2021 2020 ndokwa zvakatanga kutotwa zvakatanga 2023. Those engineered and unlawful recalls, however, all is no lost the real struggle lies ahead. That task tikuona mhuri yezimbabwe tomboti mboende kuona miono ine vanhu nenhauwa iyoyo, then tozoenda kuna vaMorgan Komichi nevamwe vari kutaura nenhau dzakaitika. tikuona Chabangu napresident Maswera Mnangagwa vatori kuPrickett Farm ikoko. Uyu sandi malaba here uyu, kana atori malaba anenge atori mahuwani cheche. tiri kuona panapa kuPrickett Farm zvina zvinotombomira zvakanaka. tiri kuona panapa pamiono yevanhu iri kutaurwa iyi mhuri yeZimbabwe. Pari kunzi what we were dealing with now are fact of 2023. ZANU-PF laid foundation to those using some of our comrades. However, as pop zvamaiti kwanzi uyu haasi comrade wenyana dzanaShabangu waitoti Chabangu asi vanosochamisa vapindura vachiti correct. So tirakuona pana pakanyorwa kunzi how do we fight the same government that controls the police and army? How do we resist the same government manipulating and bastarding the same government that have successfully neutralized opposition, the police. tiri kuona panapa ndo mashoko ari kunyorwa. Vanosochamisa vari kunyorawo vachiti I understand your frustration. Many Zimbabweans feel the same anger, disappointed, and sense of hopelessness when they see institutions that should protect citizens being used to protect those in power. But history teaches us that government do not derive their strength from chakarebesa mhuri yeZimbabwe ndevanosochamiswa uri kunyorwa chipindura chakatorebesa. takuti tingoti gaga. So tiri kuona Lloyd anyora mashoko akaipa panapa. Vanosochamisa kutaura kuti Lloyd madzimuri usadaro, musanyeurira vanhu muchisundwa neruwengo. regerai vakomana, inga muri kuConstitutional Defense Forum ndo CDF1, batai basa varume. Ndopetinonyatsoona kuti zvinhu zvacho hapana kubatira pamwe chete mhuri yeZimbabwe, hapana kubatira panhu pamwe chete, zvinhu zvacho zvakatooma. So tisatienda kuna nava vakomishi mhuri yeZimbabwe, toda kuti tiende kunana Munyaradzi Machacha. Munyaradzi Machacha regedzei tideso tiende kuna Hope Weching'ono. pane tsamba yakanyorwa naMunyaradzi Machacha regedzei tideso panapa. Munyase kuona kuti zvakamira sei. zvina kumira zvakanaka muno munyika yeZimbabwe. toda kuzivisa kuti chii chiri kunyatsa kumboitika. So tiri kuona panapa department rekukomisa ana Munyaradzi Machacha nana Taurai Kandishaya ndo akanyora po. tiri kuona kuti ana Henry Muchena vakabuda vachitaura iwo kutoti no zvinhu zviri kuitika izvi hazvisi right. So tira kuti hatichawerengi ukuku, tichazivisa imwe pati wotogona kuzvisa kuimwe channel. handisi kunyatsozviva zvakamira sei, but tira kuti tiwerenge panapa mhuri yeZimbabwe. Pakanyorwa kunzi respond to issues raised by Air Marshal retired Henry Muchena and other retired senior officers, Constitutional Amendment Bill number 3 June 2026. tiri kuona panapa one introduction. Pari kunyorwa kunzi the issue raised by Air Marshal Henry Muchena and other retired senior officers regarding Constitutional Amendment Bill number 3 deserves engagement based on facts, constitutional reasoning, and respect for the institution that defines Zimbabwe as a sovereign republic. 1-2 iri kuti national debate must therefore move beyond personalities and answer 3 fundamental questions. Number 1 question yacho iri kunzi is this process provided for in the constitutional? B yacho iri kuti are the possible institution exposing authorities given to them by law. C yacho iri kuti where citizen give an opportunity of participate. Munyaradzi Machacha ari kunyora izvi mhuri yeZimbabwe, department repolitical commissariat iri kunyora izvi. So tiri kuona pana pakanyorwa kunzi 1-3 yacho iri kuti these are the standard upon which constitutional democracy must be measured. tiri kuona panapa ava vanhu ava vanosapota kudata Tgwirei. vanhu iwava tizozveka kana vakazopanduka zvavo, but kucommissariat, department recommissariat ana Munyaradzi Machacha kusanganisirana na Taurai Kandishaya vanosapota. So tira kuti tinzwe macomrade tinao pano nana
we talk about this not to characterize the oppressor as a demigod, but to tell people that there is an alternative. The alternative is you. You can actually cause these things to stop. No matter what Parliament says, Parliament only runs because you gave it power. You created the illusion that we all agree to. As a society, these are the rules that bind us. And then we select 300, 400 individuals that are equal to us in value. But in order for function, we give them a raise, an authority over us, for lack of a better word. But the moment that they do not subscribe to that contract, that social pact, we have the right to act and destroy them. They will respond in trying to defend their power, but we can act and remove them from those positions and bring them back to the same level. Do not forget you're equal to us. We only elevated you, made you a citizen number one amongst your equals for a reason, and that reason is merely functionality. Not that you are any special, not that you were created by another being or another God separate from us. Kuna vanobhiliva big bang, not kuti pane big bang yakaitirwa iwewe chete. You understand? People who speak about the army, I always try to put it to the numbers. Could army Zimbabwe, Nema reserves ayo does not top 100,000. As my registered voters here, munosvika 8 million. The rest of the country. And on top of it, this army is made up about with people that are your relatives, people that rent your one rooms. They are not all made to a point where they will try to shoot out an entire city of 4 million if it was to happen in Harare, or a city of 1.5 million if it was to happen in Bulawayo. People have to activate the force that can stop this. My brother said he is afraid. It is understandable. He questioned kuti pane zvatinokwanisa kuita here zviripo. Tasvika papoint yekuti isu sevanhu tinogona kungobuda toti no. Even constitutional court ikataura zvainotaura, remind them kuti you simply represent me. Today I am here to represent myself. Tanga tichitaura nyaya the report from pakatanga nyaya idzi, I said the report has existed before the bill was gazetted. Report yanga yagara iriko kudhara, ende manumbers aifanira kuappear mureport anga aripo kudhara. Vachitoti aiwa tinozovapo 4 apa tovapo 10, then email, because pagara pane an idea yekuti vari mudiaspora ndo vanonyanya kushandisa zveonline izvi, saka yemaemail tinovasiya vachihwina. Handitika kuti zvingocreate all the facade yekuti aiwa sediaspora sezvingo ichifarira zvetwitter zveonline ichazotumirawo view yayo online ende ichahwina. The report has always existed. That is what I'm saying to the Zimbabweans. This is not a reflection of what the Zimbabwean people want. And the people can emphasize that point by presenting themselves to be counted wherever Zimbabwe has sovereign territory. That includes my embassies, that includes within her borders. Kuti hatisi kuzvida. Imini kana muchinyatsoda kuprova kuti isusu pane vanhu pakati pedu vari kuzvida, then go back to what the constitution dictates. Constitution in apa ndakutaura nezveclause yavo number 3, extending the terms inonzi benefiting everyone who is in the constitution without having to go to a referendum. Tikanotasa constitution yedu, what they are terming in their bill, notwithstanding clauses, notwithstanding what the constitution says. Tikatasa constitution yedu muna 2013, we specifically said isusu tiri 2 terms, and the 2 terms are actually defined within this time frame. Ukapata anything of that, kuwedzera number of terms, kuextend the time frame of the terms, wakuchinja chinhu chiri fundamental. And if you want to be able to change this thing that is fundamental, you have to come back to the people and give them an opportunity to actually vote. If it is true what the report is saying, then they should simply abide by the constitution. That's what they should do. Then we go to a referendum, the first one, to just extend the terms, extend the time, or even the number of terms. They can do whatever they would want today. Then let the citizens vote. Yapera referendum iyoyo, tochizoenda futi kune imwe referendum yekuti zvibenefite incumbent, and these referendums should be separated by time, serious time. Vakanyora constitution ye2013 vachifemerwa nemazimbabweans, they made this specifically kuti vaite
on those statistics from the survey. Do you know the importance of survey? Survey is there to guide the policymakers so that they can make decisions. So ZANU-PF is now taking advantage of that. That look at what the survey said. Everyone.
But how do you know that survey is the right output that you're getting? How do you know that?
That's the mistake that we have done. Before we went to the survey, we should have asked what is the methodology, which is there. And then from there, we should know what is the technique that is going to be used to pick the respondents. So now I am now assisting some of the members here that when we are coming up with the document to challenge the statistics of this survey, where are we going to touch on? It is not correct to say that 400 and something thousand cannot represent the entire population. That is wrong. It can. Even less than that number can represent the entire population, provided it is done according to the rules of research. So if you take...
which rules are these are we talking about?
The rules that we are talking about is that the first thing which they should have done was to select the sample size using the procedure. They should have come up.
Was it selected?
Yeah, that's what I want to clarify.
No, but was it selected? Because if you're talking about the first rule selecting, the sample size out of 16,000, 17,000, in your mind, what could have been, the sample size?
Right. What could be the sample size depended on the confidence interval that we were going to select and the margin of error and the estimated population that we are talking about.
And
so if we, let me tell you,
No, let's go step by step. So in your mind, what was the confidence, interval? Are we talking about the normal, distribution here?
Now, what we are saying is those are that is the evidence that we should throw back to ZANU-PF so that we can disown this report. Not to say that the sample size was not enough. It was even over enough. When you talk about the confidence interval of 5%, as well as the margin of error of 5%, as well as the confidence interval of maybe 17 million or 5 million, the figure should be even less than 5,000. That can be representative. Now, just give me chance. I am lending. Right. So, the issue on the ground is the other weakness that we should capitalize on. The other weakness that we should the other weakness that we should capitalize on is on the procedure of selecting the samples. They use the volunteer sampling that you can write willingly. But what about those people who were not part of the volunteer?
Sampling, was it used during the 90-day period in terms of the 4 day of the consultation period?
That's what we are saying.
No, can you attest to that? No, can you attest to that?
Yes.
There was, voluntary, sampling.
Yes, let me clarify that, then you can come up with that. The issue which they said, please, those who are willing to write, please come and do it. And those who are willing to participate...
I'm talking about the 4 days.
No, it's like I'm just coming to that particular section, but let me speak from my other angle, then you can critique me from there. I agree with what we are saying. But what we are saying, this particular devil which we are dealing with, we need to deal with them through the scientific research so that we can know that what was violated. So I'm just trying to give an insight before I finish my submission. I'm just saying that it was voluntary sampling because they said those who are willing, right? And participation, those who are willing to participate, you can do that. Of which, under this magnitude of this particular situation, we can adopt what you have said. You talked about randomization and something like that. Everyone should be given equal chance of being selected. on that sample size that we are going to select. So that is why we are saying the credibility of the results of this particular thing is questionable and is not acceptable. They've not told us how they analyze the qualitative data. And when the data came, did it come as quantitative or qualitative? If it comes as both, how did they analyze the two? We want to see those arguments. Possibly, if we are now saying that we want to see what came out, we have got a right to see that even if they
But I don't
consider the names.
submission.
So that is why we are saying
Submission
that
is not a
no, you come up, that's the issue. We are going to deal with this. That is why we are saying that those are some of the legal issues that we can raise to tell them that what we have said is wrong. But at the moment, ZANU-PF is legalizing the results that they were cooked. They are just saying that this is what happened. So they are now portraying to the international community. So this is what I can say. Now, as I am coming to the end, I want to say that you see where we are going now, I think, is just near. We are not very far from doing the right thing, because it is easy to deal with Mnangagwa when he is illegal than to deal with him when he is still legal like this. And I'm telling you that Mnangagwa becomes illegal the day when the parliament is going to appoint him or is going to approve this particular bill. Or some, they said around August of 2028. That's when Mnangagwa becomes illegal. So what should we do as citizens? We should now move on to make sure that there is no caretaker government. There is a caretaker government that should look after us. Because that is why we are saying even the military can come in and no one can stop them, because they've seen that the constitution has been violated. Where we are going right now, it's very easy. But what I was saying is that let's accept our responsibility as we are losing from one stage to another. When you lose to the constitution, or that is the parliament, let's accept if there are some additional, challenges that we can deal with, or some additions that we can deal with to alleviate that, we can do. Then to the courts, the same thing. So what I'm saying is we would never stop this at the parliament level, given the situation that we have. People are talking of Malokelo. Malokelo, who is he? He is a CC Chabangu. He was told by the people that, please, where you are going, resign. This thing is now useless. But they said, no, we are going to fight from within. They are not fighting from within. They are now moving, crossing benches from one ZANU-PF to CC or to opposition. And that is not what we put them there for. That is the strategy of ambiguity that we don't want from them. So to me, when I view Malokelo and all those MPs who are in the parliament, there is no one who is even a little bit better. They are just evil people. We told them that you are sanitizing disaster. That's what they started. Now all the parliament, they are quiet, including Malokelo. We thought maybe at one point in time, you could be harassed or injected from the parliament because he is criticized. He is totally doing nothing. And to support him, we support him as who? He is not even an opposition member. He is a ZANU-PF faction of Chabangu CC, which we are saying that if he said he challenged that, what is he doing? Nothing is doing. So within the parliament, our hope is not only coming from that so-called ZANU-PF faction of Chabangu. It is also coming from the ZANU-PF MPs as well, because they are citizens of Zimbabwe. They know what their constituents are saying. We expect them to come out. So if you want to push the parliament, let's not look for a loophole of targeting the opposition alone. Let's target even the ZANU-PF. They know what they are supposed to do, because so the issue of saying Malokelo was on Wadai, yes, it's a mistake, but this is a ZANU-PF faction, and all of them, they are not good in any way. So that is why we are saying Ango Jed. Thank you very much for exposing this particular space. Why I challenged Ango Jed. In fact, let me conclude by saying why I challenged. I heard you were saying we are not concerned about the figures. Now we are concerned about the numbers. But at the same time, we are the ones who said, let's go. Timboita tinoparticipata tinyore matsamba tidaiwo tazoona kuti arigwa manje takuda kudzokera mashure, but itori a lesson yekuti nyangwe takaita referendum vanongoita sezvavaita izvi. So thank you very much for everything.
Right. Thank you, my brother, for that. I think I just want to say, I, I think it's I understand where you're coming from, especially in terms of Chabangu MPs and stuff. But I also think it might not be very wise to just judge everybody by the same brush. Kungoti tongo penda munhu wese. And by the way, this is not in defense of anyone. But I just think, yeah, I just think maybe sometimes it might be more beneficial for us to actually try and understand. But I think, guess with the Zimbabwean politics, national ethics, especially in the opposition circles, and how people have been let down, sometimes people can just go to that route whereby we can just paint everybody like that to say chichi. But yeah, sometimes that's not always the picture. That's not always the story. That's not always the story. But anyway, maybe regarding what so I think so pana Mdaraji, Amsan Mataura Masi, I see you. Pana Vakomich, so I think Vakomich you were coming next.
Yeah, thank you so much. Magadi Mosema comrades. Tiri kusangana nenhamo yedu yatafesana nemuzimbabwe yakakura zvikuru. It's obvious muparliament pane vakomana vari brave vachavota against this bill. Vangaita zvava vashoma, yes of course, but there are dedicated young guys and young women that are prepared to put their heads on the block. I know the body language Molokole could have appeared as if Aitashim was really serious, but I'm sure as a character, I think I'm going out of his character really. But in terms of principle and position, Yekap 3 is not a person who can sell his soul to Zanu PF. He's very, very clear. Naturally, is very clear. I think in a video, Yango would say more picture. I'm sure chitika or Jume. Really out of context here, because of voter. Since today ranga rizuva rekungoverengwa kwebill naziyambi the tension inenge isina kunyanya kuwanda, asi pavachasvika pakuvhota the tension will be very, very high because ma chief whips anenge akatarisa. Chief whip wezano anenge akavhura maziso, chief whip wekuopposition anenge akavhura maziso, saka tension inenge iri very high. That is mangwana. For today, I think it was just being dramatic. So I think we might forgive him for now, because knowing him very well, Molokele wouldn't really sell his soul. Nokuda kwe parliament. But let me go back to the issue.
Just before you go to the issue, so but my votes are anengari secret votes, right? For the MPs.
Aywa. We know but High Court judgment. Tine High Court judgment ya Jonathan Moyo yakaitwa 2010. Pataka votera Speaker of Parliament. Takaita show of hands chitanga. Ndobva Jonathan Moyo atendesa ku High Court. Ndokubva High Court ya rula kuti no muparliament munovotwa ne secret ballot. Ndobva tadzokorora secret ballot yacho. Still Speaker Love Momoyo vakawina. Saka kuna High Court judgment. I don't know how Ziyambi is trying to override that, but cannot bypass that. There's High Court judgment Dara, and definitely immediately after later public voting, there will be a court challenge because pane president yakatetika 2010. So we are demanding secret ballot because got kambotosungwa tikata secret ballot. But however, ZANU-PF inotya secret ballot manje because inoziva kuti we still have very clear